So here we're in our customer Alogistico's Kannalytics environment. This is the first thing that appears when they log in. This is the homepage, which essentially is also the chat functionality of the chat feature. I'll get to this in a moment. I think where the real value is and what the CEO for Alogistico utilizes Kannalytics on a more regular basis, is for the automation of workflows. They are currently on our Essentials package, which comes equipped with 3 core workflows that are automated, and they've already predefined what those workflows were that were important to his business, and that was margin analysis, variance analysis, and freight analysis. They have invested in a 4th tier or a fourth workflow hub at another $500 a month. They're on an MRR of roughly $1,500. They have yet to define what that 4th hub is going to be for, but currently they've got these 3 hubs. So we'll start with variance analysis. This is their monthly workflow that runs every month, and it's a look back. The data for September has not been updated in their QuickBooks. Once it does, which is typically around the 5th or the 6th of the month, this will then automate and instantly look at the data and then import everything and just give you an output of the September variance analysis. So you can see here, you've got your executive summary that looks at net income performance, revenue analysis, cost analysis, top 5 variances by impact on net income, strategic insights and executive recommendations from KPIs, strategic implications, recommended initiatives, all the way down to giving you a 30, 60, 90-day roadmap and some bullet points outlining what you can do over the next 30, 60, 90 days, and then concluding that with CFO board presentation talking points. They give you a headline, financial impact, strategic context, as well as a go-forward strategy. And then he's got his analysis table here where he can export that and plug that into wherever you'd like. He can search by specific units or categories, and then he can also filter by the specific columns. And this is all dynamic, and again, this is run on a monthly basis, and it's all automated. This is now saving him a couple hours at the end of every month. He doesn't have to worry about this. When the data is updated in QuickBooks, it then populates into Kannalytics in this specific workflow hub. And then these next 2, margin analysis. This is a weekly update that happens, and again, also saving him somewhere between 2 to 3 hours a week, and is completely automated on a week-over-week basis. And you'll see here what the data that we're looking at and automating for him on a weekly basis as soon as this loads up. So again, this is the margin analysis. You've got all your various dynamic cards or line charts. So we're looking at weekly labor revenue and expenses, margin percentage, and you can hover over everything and see the percentages, the revenue. Then we're looking at freight margin, total margin, a weekly margin analysis, labor margin, freight margin, and total margin. And then this is AI Insights. What we pre-built in here is the ability for them to interact with the data within these hubs so they can query something very specific about the information or the data that is in these dashboards. And then that information would then populate in this section here. Similarly, he's got freight analysis. This too is updated on a weekly basis. It leads with a data table, and it looks at several categories. Again, this is completely dynamic. You can do a search functionality, a filter functionality, and then you can export the data as well. And then you have your freight analysis year to date. You've got your customer performance and carrier performance and all the data and insights within there, from highest profit customers, lowest profit customers, to most profitable carriers and the least profitable carriers. So that is the 3 workflows that are specific to Alogistico, which is a third-party logistics company based out of the Bay Area in California. And then this is utilized more on demand, ad hoc. Specifically, their head accountant is utilizing this on a more day-to-day basis. And, here's where you can just ask a question about your numbers, and then you'll get a response. And so I can plug in, what were the key drivers of revenue in Q3 of this year, hit enter, and then it will start to source the data. And again, everything right now is integrated into QuickBooks, so we're going to be sourcing data out of their QuickBooks. We can integrate into any financial data tool, whether that's ERP, SAP, QuickBooks, you name it. We have integrations through MCP seamlessly for Kannalytics and can source your data, your financial data, wherever that resides. And so here, this is kind of querying the AI input, and then you'll see the response here in a moment. Depending on the complexity of the query and the amount of tools that we're sourcing from, it can take anywhere from 45 seconds to a couple of minutes. Here it was about 38 seconds. And so now we're going to get a detailed outline of the Q3 2025 revenue drivers, key revenue streams. You can see that listed here. Top customer drivers. These are the top 3 customers. And then monthly pattern, peak in August with July, September averaging at 33K, indicating seasonal customer activity drives mid-range or mid-quarter surge. So again, so this is how Alogistico utilizes Kannalytics. This is the chat functionality, more ad hoc. And then these are the 3 automated workflow hubs that they use on a regular basis: margin and freight weekly, and then variance on a monthly basis. Thank you.